anxiety, basically either anxiety controls you or you control it, right? Your brain is controlling you or you're controlling your brain. That's on you.
Like it's an imaginary situation, but मेरा mind इस तरह से believe करने लग पड़ता है उस चीज को कि वो हो गया है and I'm not okay with it, and I start feeling those panic attacks. Hi everyone, welcome back to Listen Up with Simran Isha, where we dive into real conversations about life, personal growth, and everything in between. Today we have an exciting episode lined up for you, so turn up the volume and listen up. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Listen Up with Simran Isha. Well, today's episode is going to be a little different because Simran and I had a very interesting talk yesterday. Over the last few weeks, we both have felt a little overwhelming. And no particular reason, but फिर भी ऐसा होता है ना कई बार लाइफ में कि heaviness feel होने लग पड़ती है, सब कुछ सही चल रहा होता है फिर भी कभी कभी heavy लगने लग पड़ता है. So I think we both realized that this conversation that we were having yesterday amongst us needs to get out in the podcast as well because it might help somebody. So here we are today, Simran, right?
Absolutely. And I think like for both of us, a lot of different changes in life. And I think that is what life is. You go through changes. You have periods of nothingness and you have periods of a lot of stuff happening all together.
Yes.
And I think, yeah, like we were discussing yesterday, it has been a bit overwhelming, especially, I know for me, for you as well. And we both also realized that it was basically Mental Health Awareness Month last month, and we didn't really do anything about it. We didn't talk about it. And like we always do in our society, that we don't talk about mental health. So this month, we want to focus a few episodes on that and talk about our own experience as well, right, Isha? Because I know for a fact, like I've struggled with my mental health. I know you have as well. And we were talking about like how it's not always easy to, talk to your parents or your friends about it. Has it ever happened like for you that, you've tried to talk about it and, like you've been nervous to like share
Yeah,
it?
I've been nervous. I've been doubtful to even go out and talk to somebody about it because my first thing is what will the person think of me? Because it makes me feel very weak and vulnerable, and I don't want to feel that. Sometimes I even feel guilty about it. It's a very contrasting emotion, but मुझे कई बार guilt भी हो जाता है इस चीज का कि मैं ऐसा क्यों feel कर रही हूँ. Like, why am I so low on energy? Is it? I start working in my mind like, is it laziness? So there's so many self-doubts that come with it that eventually I've come to realize कि the more you talk, the more you realize कि सबके साथ हो रहा है, the more easy the conversation around it becomes. My parents have been very, very, generous because they get it. They give me that space to come and talk to them. Like my mom and dad individually, I've had conversations with them over the years where they've understood what I've been going through. Not completely, I get it because they're not in my shoes, but they still get it. Or they've asked me to seek help. Now, in an Indian household, Desi household, that is a big thing. Brown household, my parents don't go tell you normally कि जाओ therapist के पास जाओ. But my parents have that kind of mindset कि if you need help, go take one. Go to someone, go talk to someone. So yeah, I think I have slowly come to the realization that you have to first come out and talk about it. The more you, because अगर तुम बोलोगे नहीं फिर तो ये solve ही नहीं होने वाला 110%. अगर तुम बोलोगे the chances are this will resolve.
I think I absolutely agree with you. I think first accepting that you have an issue, and for me the same. I would say like my parents are pretty. My mom is crazy, always been talk to me, beta, anything you need. Like she's never ever been a problem to talk to. I wouldn't say that for my dad. I think my dad is like pretty hardcore, very like tough man. So for him to really open up about his feelings and all that took him time as well, took me time as well, for both of us to get comfortable. But I think today I'm in a place I'm much more comfortable to talk to my dad about these things. But initially it was hard, and more than anything I realized it was hard because I made it hard for myself to talk about my issues. I've had closest friends tell me that, Sim, you were going through this, I didn't even know. Like, why didn't you tell us? Like, why didn't you share? And I, being the type A personality that I am, of an Indian girl especially, I think you want to keep the best image, number one. Number two, you don't want to bother other people. Number three, you think you are mature and responsible enough to handle your own issues. And other people, the whole thing that other people don't have to solve it, you have to solve it for yourself, that you don't need anyone, and you're scared to be vulnerable about things. And this was exactly where I was, I would say, 5 years ago, where I could not let my guard down, not because people would not help me, but because it was just not something which I felt comfortable doing. Because
No,
I should,
I get it.
I'm perfect, like, hey, I have no
I
issues.
felt that I have a persona outside that I have to keep maintain, and this inner battle has to be fought like alone.
Exactly.
Like, what is this? And my friends, again, like you were mentioning your friends, again, Simran, even I was that person. It took me a while to come across to my friends कि यार मेरे साथ ऐसा कुछ भी चल रहा है. But I've been blessed with some good people in my life, touch wood, and they have really understood me, really supported me in some of the toughest decisions of my life जो मुझे लेने के लिए कुछ support चाहिए थी. You know, sometimes आपको चाहिए होता है, आप ऐसे zone में निकल रहे होते हैं, आपको इतना ही बोल दे कि हाँ तो सही कर रही है, बस इतना ही, तो आप उसको और अच्छे से कर पाते हो. तो ऐसे मेरे पास मतलब आए. बट अगेन वो वाली चीज धीरे धीरे बनी है. दिस इज वेरी रीसेंट चेंज फॉर मी दैट आई केम आउट. आई टॉक अबाउट माय मेंटल हेल्थ, और इफ आई एम बैटलिंग थ्रू समथिंग आई टॉक अबाउट इट विद अ फ्रेंड. वरना देयर इज ऑलवेज दिस आइडिया इन माय हेड कि यू हैव टू ऑलवेज लुक परफेक्ट आउटसाइड. बट उसको मैंने ब्रेक किया कि दैट्स नॉट हाउ इट वर्क्स. यू हैव टू बी रियल. यू जस्ट हैव टू बी रियल. द गुड इज द रियल पार्ट. Again, the sad is the real part. But there's so much stigma, I get it, and there's so much, मुझे लगता है this comes with age also. Because my siblings, they're younger to me. I don't think they would come out very openly and talk to, everybody around if they're battling through something. Because they have this, teenagers में there's this image कि यार, I just have to hustle, I have to make through, now the Instagram is just telling them, like my brother is going through a phase where he's like, Didi, I have to hustle, I have to do this, I have to do this. But मुझे realize हो रहा है कि he's not coming out and sharing his problems with anyone. And then sometimes I go and poke, and I poke, okay, what is going through? Because he acts out. Okay, when he's not sharing, he acts out. Then I'm like, okay, what is the problem? क्या चल रहा है? What is underneath everything? Like you have to poke these people, and I get it. I've also been in those shoes कि जब मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा किसी को मुझे बोलना पड़ा हो कि यार बता क्या चल रहा है. But अब मुझे समझ में आ गया है कि the sooner you understand, you find your people, the sooner you find your people, the easier it would be for you to have that conversation, and the better it would be for you. आप उतनी जल्दी ठीक हो जाओगे. सब लोग निकलते हैं highs and lows of emotions के साथ. बस बात करने के लिए कोई चाहिए.
Sometimes even talking to someone. Yesterday when I called up Isha and we had a Zoom call, we were supposed to record an episode. I was just not myself, and she could see I was not myself. And we talked, we chatted, I cried like a 5-year-old baby, and I felt better just talking about things. Yes. That's it. Like literally just talking about my issue made me feel lighter. Yeah. Like 10 times lighter, So sometimes it's not even about finding a solution. Yes. It's about just voicing that you are not you're having an issue, And for me, like my struggle with, or my beginning of my mental health where I realized that I need support, is when I started noticing that I have anxiety. And I think anxiety is something which now when I talk to my friends and peer group and people, I see a lot of people do suffer with anxiety, especially in our generation. Maybe because I think people before also did, but like now people are becoming more aware and they're talking more openly about it, which is something I've definitely struggled with. I can still be a very anxious person because I worry about my future a lot. And I worry that everything has to go as per plan, And if things are not going as per that, it scares me.
I know. I get it. Even I worry. I suffer from anxiety as well. Like we both were discussing that this is something we both have felt in our life.
Yeah.
There's this fear. I think anxiety हर इंसान में एक अलग तरीके से manifest होती है. अलग-अलग चीजों पे. For me, it's the fear of the future. In my head, there'll be a story that'll cook up, and something, a situation will happen in the future. Like it's an imaginary situation, but मेरा mind इस तरह से believe करने लग पड़ता है उस चीज को कि वो हो गया है, and I'm not okay with it, and I start feeling those panic attacks. And last year was very hard for me that way because it happened to me like frequently. 2-3 बार मेरे साथ हुआ, after which I sought help, and I got very scared कि यार middle of the night I woke up worrying about something that has not even happened, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I was in that space. And then I called up my friend, the one person I always call up. I called up my friend and I was like, and she just helped me breathe. That's all we did on that call. Half an hour, 30, 40 minutes, she just sat with me, helped me breathe.
Oh.
Just, she said, it's okay, nothing is happening in this moment. She just made me realize to come back in the moment. And I'm so grateful to her for this, that she helped me through it. Because sometimes the right people also, help you क्रॉस दैट पार्ट, because ये बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है यार, पता भी नहीं चलता कहाँ से आया ये इमोशन, बहुत हैवी लगता है, मुझे लगता है कि इसके बाद मैं आगे चल ही नहीं सकती, आई कैन नॉट मूव फॉरवर्ड इन लाइफ. बट अगेन एंजाइटी इस तरह से किसी के लिए मैनिफेस्ट होती है, किसी के लिए फ्यूचर की वरी हो जाती है, किसी के लिए स्ट्रेस से बढ़ जाती है. कुछ भी जिंदगी में कोई भी स्ट्रेस चल रहा हो या कुछ भी स्ट्रेसफुल हो जाए, उससे आप एंजाइटी फील करने लग पड़ते हो. कुछ लोगों के लिए मैंने ये भी सुना है, इट मैनिफेस्ट इन सम काइंड ऑफ पेन इन द बॉडी, कि व्हेन यू आर वेरी एंग्शियस योर बॉडी विल स्टार्ट एकिंग, लाइक किसी का बैक में दर्द हो रही है, सर्वाइकल पेन स्टार्ट हो जाती है, माइग्रेन स्टार्ट हो जाता है, लाइक इट्स डिफरेंट फॉर एवरीबॉडी. जस्ट कि बट आई थिंक हम सबको ये समझना चाहिए कि मुझे जो अपने एक्सपीरियंस से समझ में आया, आई एम नॉट एन एक्सपर्ट इन दिस ऑब्वियसली, बट मुझे अपने एक्सपीरियंस से ये समझ में आया है कि वन, सीक हेल्प where it's needed, recognize when you need help, and then go and seek that help. And because that solves the issue million times over. तुम imagine भी नहीं कर सकते हो कितना easy कर देता तुम्हारे दिमाग को. मुझे ना बहुत सारे लोग ये कहते हैं कि therapy is just conversation. I know, but then tell me again, in your real life, are you having those conversations, the one you have in therapy? Because we're not. Nobody is sitting and asking me, class 3rd or class 4th mein, Isha, what bothered you in today's time? Because everybody is so busy. So if you're not having those conversations anywhere else in life, then you should go and have them in therapy ना, because तुमने इतने सालों से जो चीजें अपने अंदर रखी हुई है, जो ट्रिगर्स बना लिए हुए हैं, उनको कभी तो रिलीज करोगे. That's when, that's what I tell my friends and everybody जो मुझे थेरेपी के बारे में क्वेश्चन भी करते हैं कि नहीं यार, you have to look at it from a different perspective. Conversation
Very
माना.
true. Very true. Because when you finish a therapy session, you walk out, you know that that person is they're not a part of your life. Yes. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to hold anything against you. And they are probably not, it's out of sight, out of mind for you when you walk out of that session. But you can always expect that from people in your life, because people in your life are existing in your life and they are going to have their own opinions. They're going to have opinions more than, and then those opinions have advice as well. And then you need to understand, for me, that's why, dealing with your anxiety, like you said, number one, recognize it. Number two, once you recognize that you have this issue, you need to start tools to help you fix that issue. What do these tools look like? This could be literally starting therapy, going to a counselor, talking to a friend about what's happening, so that they can inform you further and give you further tools to help you, like meditation, journaling, watching inspiring podcast or listening to nice podcast episodes, watching inspiring TED Talks. So all this is part of building up your mental health again, because somewhere your anxiety is occurring because there's a fear inside you which needs to be addressed, right? And you are not addressing it, you're putting it under the rug. The worst thing you can do is put things under the rug, put your head in the ground, not look at your problems, and live in denial. And a lot of us, I do that. Forget anybody else.
We do
I
it. I think
that.
everybody
I
does.
just live in denial.
हम सब करते हैं यार. किसी time पे हम सब करते हैं.
Exactly. You just don't want to see the truth of things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
नहीं deal करने का मन होता. Exactly. But यार, again, you put it in a very nice way, Simran. I think the nice steps that you put it, ki first recognize it, then once you recognize it, then seek help, because then they'll give you tools, and these tools will help you. सबके लिए tools भी different होते हैं. I think meditation has helped me a lot in my journey to find that sense of calm, to find that sense of self again. मुझे ये realize हुआ था when I started going to therapy and everything, that there's a different Isha, there's a different version of me that exists. So that's why I kept I really liked that process also, because मुझे ये version अपना पता ही नहीं था. Like this version, and I like this version better than the version that was existing before. Like I feel I've grown so much as an individual emotionally because of this process. Yeah. So that's what really attracted me in the beginning. Ki, yaar, I'm understanding so much about me. Forget anybody else. Like, about me, I like this. I am expecting this. These are my expectations. This is where I go and seek validation. Like, I did not even recognize those things, but now I do. So that
Yeah.
awareness helps a lot in just living your life normally also.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know for a fact, like, we are not experts, so we can't give you
Yes.
an exact expert strategy on how you need to solve your anxiety or your issue. But we can tell you our experiences of what we've done so that it inspires you to go take action and maybe start that therapy session or start journaling or start doing things to start taking control of your own mind, because anxiety, basically, either anxiety controls you or you control it, right? Your brain is controlling you or you controlling your brain. That's on you. And there are still nights for me as well, just last week, where I just couldn't sleep because I kept thinking of wrong scenarios. And I put myself in a panic state and I had a panic attack. And I don't want to tell anyone about it, or I don't want to talk about it because people will look at me like I'm crazy or anything like that. But I told my therapist about it, and then she helped me understand that the reason I'm having it is because I'm not addressing issues which need to be addressed. I'm not voicing what I want to voice. And I'm shutting myself up. I'm shutting my voice. You will also, like you said, I love what you said about it manifesting in your body. I have the worst migraines when I have anxiety. I have so many times where I'll start getting a sore throat. And what has throat got to do with it? And my therapist explained to me that it's because you are stopping your voice. You're not voicing.
Yeah.
So automatically my throat gets sore and it starts hurting.
There's a very nice example even I know, like stress, like girls streak stress, and there's this line girls keep saying sometimes, especially when they're menstruating, I wish I was a guy. The girls who say that, usually they manifest this in their body in a way that they have PCOS and PCOD problems more. The chances of occurring in their body is more because their mind starts creating cells that they want to be a boy. Now, to be a boy, like the organ will not function properly. That's how the body manifests. So it's just a small example that I read once and I was like, blown away by it. That happens.
Is insane, and I completely believe, I know for a fact, like, I've fallen off the track when it comes to my mental health because I'm not taking care of my mind. I'm not doing anything for my mind. And the minute I stop doing things for my mind, that is the minute I start losing at life again, because I've stopped focusing on me and I've started focusing on everything else around me. The truth is, if you want a better life, a happier life, you want to be happy, you need to take care of you. Because nobody is going to come and help you take care. Yes, the therapist will help you, friend will help you, your partner will help you. After a point, they'll all leave, and then you will be left alone to fix that for yourself. If you are stuck, if you are worrying, you're constantly anxious, it's because you're letting it happen to you. And it's okay. It's okay. I've done that when I've been in bad places in my life. But then comes a point where you have to say enough is enough, and I need to break the cycle.
I need to break the cycle. Yes, you have to wake up and cycle. I think this conversation was much needed for both of us, more than anything, because yesterday also we felt that हम दोनों की बहुत help हुई थी. We felt like we had a good heart to heart, which was needed. And I hope this episode reaches someone who needs this really. And if you are listening, of course, we can suggest you things online that we have used. But again, if you are somebody who's going through a tough phase, go seek help. Reach to a counselor, reach to a therapist. They will help you overcome it in a much better way. And then once you find your tools, just keep at it. Keep going at it. Jitni baar you fall off the wagon, still again find yourself back and keep doing it. I think that's what life is.
Absolutely. I love that. Amazing. I think we've had a lovely conversation. I can't wait to continue this in our future episodes as well.
Yes.
So thank you for everyone who joined in and listened. And thank you, Isha, for sharing this with me. I'm so happy I do this podcast with Isha. I don't think I could do it with anyone else except her. She's my online virtual bestie. So, yeah. So we will see you in our next episode and keep listening. Till then. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Listen Up with Simran Isha. Hope you enjoyed the conversation and make sure to like and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay tuned and listen up.